everyone. Today I would like to discuss a topic that does not get the proper attention it deserves until it's too late. How many of you know when you're going to die? Well, the correct answer is none of us know when we're going to die. One thing we can do for sure though is make sure our final arrangements are taken care of. Today I will explain the importance of immediate help, choosing the proper disposition, and settling estates and assets. I cannot stress the importance of this. When you do it, it can be a traumatic, stressful situation for your loved ones. The last thing you want them to have to deal with is based off a time clock. Knowing what will happen to you after you die eases the burdens of loved ones and gives them time to grieve rather than be unprepared for their next move. Planning your own arrangements not only makes it easier on your loved ones, but it also ensures that final wishes and respects are guaranteed without question. Let's start talking about a topic that happens as soon as you die. Selecting a family member to be a decision maker is a critical point. While this may not be a problem for some families, others with siblings it can be. For instance, all of your children may not have the same idea or opinion on what should happen with the body. This is why it's important to talk with your children and clarify that there will be one decision maker to give doctors, nurses, embalmers, and morticians one clear and quick answer. You don't want to be caught like a deer in the headlights and asked a question that you have no idea an answer to. While many people typically die in their sleep, there are those that die in hospitals. And for this topic, we should bring up DNR, or do not resuscitate. Depending on your age, quality of life, and sickness, doctors and nurses can often bring you back to life. That is, if the person wants to be brought back to life. That's why you should have this conversation with your children or caretaker, because you do not want your children to have to make this decision for you. The decision should be premeditated, and your caretaker of your arrangement should know everything thoughtfully what you're doing. Planning also helps take care of dependent family members. In today's day and age, there are many single parents out there. Being young isn't an excuse for not planning. Have you ever thought what would happen if you were a single parent? It's important to plan, whether it's with grandparents, aunts and uncles, cousins, or other close relatives. Children in particular are stricken by sadness of death, and they need to be able to take care of a stable adult in a time of need. Another conversation that is essential is access to all important documents. If your loved one is in charge of your obituary, they may be able to get away with this at first, because it's just basic information you would generally know, such as your birthday, a high school you attended, or an armed forces branches you may have served in. All documents requiring ID numbers should be kept in a safe place, readily available for when you die. This list can be as specific or general as you'd like to make it, but some good examples should include banking information, homeowner documents, birth certificate, and social security cards. Everything you kept safe when you once were alive should now be readily accessible for your caretaker. Now that I have gone over some initial steps, let's go over what your family may need to do if you do not specify the next step. In today's society, there are two popular forms of disposition: embalming or cremation. Embalming is preserving the body through a chemical process. Its appearance is suitable for funeral service, religious reasons, or a scientific purpose. While embalming was the traditional method after death, in this past decade, cremation has skyrocketed in popularity. Cremation is the combustion of cadavers back to a basic chemical compound such as ashes. Cremations are becoming so popular because of the cheaper disposition, and it also allows the family to take home a memento with them. Also, families often choose to spread the ashes in a place the deceased once loved. You can also bury the cremation at a plot or site such as an embalmed body. Many people today also do a combination of the two while having an embalmed body at the funeral and it cremated after. The third option is not so popular. It's called natural burial. It's when a body does not undergo any chemical process and it is buried in a biodegradable coffin. so the earth can naturally reclaim it. This option, while less expensive, is least popular. Overall, the important thing to know is that your loved one should get their preferred form of disposition out of their final respects. Some religions do not allow cremation, and if the children moved away from their religion, then they should honor the parents if they still actively followed it. This is why it's important to know now and not when it happens. After discussing the first two initial tasks, the most daunting comes after the funeral, which is settling assets and estates. The last will and testament created by the deceased can be so important in this matter, which is why it's so important for the family to have it accessible. A well-written will can clarify the ownership issues the living may have. When dividing property among the children, it is suggested to have an attorney overlook the will. This can save both time and potential fights and hard feelings between siblings. Another topic that's hard to divide and conquer is all the assets and estates you may inherit. A will can sometimes just simply leave everybody with everything. This is not always a good case. The new owner may not have the time or interest in overtaking the property or goods. Questions to ask yourself are, can the house or cars be sold before I die or am stricken by a major illness? You may want to ask yourself this so you could save the burden of being put onto your children. What if the beneficiary is a minor? Minors are often left in the will, and while this is not a problem, they cannot manage the inheritance or property without adult supervision until they are 18 to 21 years of age. It depends upon the state. There are many laws involving minors, but it is best to consult an attorney preceding your death if possible on this subject. When I began, many of you expressed that you did not understand the importance of planning could be. No matter what age you are, it's never too young to start planning. I've explained the importance of having a plan with immediate help, choosing disposition, and settling assets and estates. As Mark Twain once said, the fear of death follows from the fear of life. A man who lives is prepared to die at any time. Thank you.